Thank you for listening to Discovering the Scriptures with Dr. Parisis. Let's open up with a word of prayer. Father, please grant us the wisdom and knowledge as we look into your word, as we seek to meditate upon it throughout the day. Help us to draw closer to you. Please help us to see prayer hindrances and get them taken care of. Give us the courage to do so. Give us the wisdom to know how to do so. And help us to love one another and draw closer to those who are our enemies and to pray for them and to love them. But we need your wisdom now. Please help us to hear the Holy Spirit and His guidance and be obedient and be more Christ-like. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Now leave a moment of silence afterwards for you to answer back, please. Okay. Need more time? Please hit the click button. Daniel chapter 5, verse 4. Reading from the King James Bible, quote, "They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone," unquote. Young's Literal Translation, Daniel 5:4, quote, "They have drunk wine and have praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone," unquote. Let's look at the parsing. They drank, as parsed out in the Aramaic, PL stem, so casual, written, aspect, perfect, completed. Continuing, wine and praised, let's parse out to that. PL stem, casually written, perfect aspect, completed. The gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. End of parsing on this verse. Pretty simple. Now remember, it's important to read this in context, so we're going to go ahead and put the paragraph in here of this verse where it is written, so you can get an understanding of the verses before and after. Reading in context, King James Version, Daniel chapter 5 verse 1 through Daniel 5:4. Quote, "Belteshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belteshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone." Unquote. John Gill's commentary, Daniel 5, verse 4. Quote, "They drank wine, that is, out of the vessels of the temple at Jerusalem, and perhaps till they were drunk, and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone, for they had gods of all these materials." See Gill on Daniel 1:2. "And these they praised by offering sacrifices unto them, or rather by singing songs and drinking healths, and by ascribing all the victories over the nations of the world to them, as that by their means they had got such large dominions, and had great wealth and treasures, and particularly these vessels of gold and silver, and so insulted and triumphed over the God of Israel, and deified the prophecies and promises of the deliverances of them that went under his name." Unquote.